Hi, it's Panda Movies here. Today, I'm going to explain the Filipino horror movie called Maria, Leonora, Teresa. Warning, there are spoilers ahead. Enjoy the video. The movie begins with the spiritual blessing of Little Magnolia School's new building. One of the visitors, the city mayor, reminded the school's owner, Stanley Pardo, about a previous event at the school in which a student died. Stanley's wife, Faith, was in the school's restroom when a ghost of a boy appeared. After a sad accident happened the next day during the school's field trip, three parents, Faith, Julio, and Stella, mourned the deaths of their daughters, Maria, Leonora, and Teresa. A psychiatrist named Manolo Apacible offers life-size talking dolls to help them cope with their loss. Faith and Stella turned down the dolls because they were so physically similar to their daughters, and the same speech patterns and voices terrified them. Julio, on the other hand, agrees to take the job. Julio notices the effect of his doll on him and proceeds to tell Stella and Faith about his fast recovery. Faith accepted Julio's suggestion and took the Maria doll with her. Stella still refuses to take her doll, but when her cheating husband, Don, takes it when Manolo offers it to him, she finally accepts it. The three devastated parents feel much better with the dolls, but strange things begin to happen around them. One of Faith's housekeepers, Don, and Stella's housekeeper, Don himself, and one of Julio's students are the first to be haunted. Julio is punished by the principal for bringing his doll to class, which has scared students and scared their parents. Faith tells Stanley that she is expecting a baby. Stanley decides that the dolls were no longer needed. The dolls, however, become more deadly when they start to kill people. It starts with Leonora assassinating the school principal and Maria luring Faith by placing pencils on the stairwell in the hopes of causing her to stumble and miscarry her baby. When one of the maids intercepts Faith and cleans the pencils, Maria's scheme fails. Teresa begins a killing spree with Don and her mistress. When authorities heard the screaming and began entering the crime scene, she failed to kill Don and his mistress's son. Don is in severe condition and succumbs to his injuries. Maria goes for the housemaid who ruined her plan and begins stabbing her 27 times. Before passing out, the housemaid managed to snap a few photos which were then used as evidence that the dolls were part of all the Sinister. Faith and Stella hold Julio responsible for the dolls and past incidents. Julio denies that the dolls are involved. Faith brings up a previous school incident in which the three of them were there, and Julio storms off, claiming he never was involved. Meanwhile, Teresa kills her grandma by impaling her in the forehead with a sword from a St. Michael statue. Faith's other housemaid notices the hauntings as well and directs Faith to her cousin Augusto, a witch doctor. Augusto discovered that the dolls are being controlled by a strong witchcraft expert. Stella and her brother begin packing and preparing to leave, but Teresa goes on another murdering spree, but this time she is unsuccessful in killing Stella. Faith invites Stella to meet her at Augusto's house. Augusto performs a seance and discovers the name of the ghost who frightened Faith at the start of the movie. Eldon Jacinto, a student who died at a previous event at the school, is revealed to be the spirit. Eldon is revealed to be Manolo's son, and Manolo is also in charge of the dolls. Julio is then lured to Manolo's house by Leonora, who knocks him out. Stanley is killed when the three dolls meet. Augusto advises that they fight Manolo and put an end to his spell. They are surprised to find Julio tied when they arrive. The dolls had knocked them out. When they awoke, Manolo told them about his intention to get revenge for his son's death. Manolo planned his revenge on the three parents who were responsible for Eldon's death and denial of justice. Eldon has the power to see into the future, and the school incident is one of his visions. He told his classmates about his vision, which made them nervous. Eldon was punished by Julio by being locked to a classroom near to a science lab for spreading the rumor. A gas leak was discovered in the science laboratory, and a janitor lit a cigarette carelessly, resulting in an explosion. Eldon warned Teresa to stay out of the classroom before the explosion. Teresa told Stella about it, but she dismissed it because Stella had done a lot of favors for the school as a result of Teresa's poor grades. Stanley and Faith seek to cover up the incident by bribing the police investigating the incident and attempting to silence Eldon's guardian. When Manolo's son died, he was away from home. Manolo attempts to complete his ritual of turning the parents into dolls, but Julio manages to untangle himself and stop the process and untie the others. Manolo gets up and commands the dolls to attack them. Augusto fights Manolo while the three parents fight their dolls. Faith and Stella successfully destroyed their dolls, but Julio allowed Leonora escape. Augusto is defeated by Manolo, who impales Julio with a spear. Eldon's body was taken by Faith and Stella, who gave him a proper burial and blessing. Manolo appears before the two and attempts to kill them, but Julio arrives and strikes a killer blow to Manolo before dying. The film closes as Stella and Faith visit Julio's burial. Faith gave birth to a healthy baby boy, and Stella adopted Don's illegitimate son. In the mid-credit scene, a mother is grieving the death of her child as a result of the field trip event when Julio approaches her in the same manner that Manolo approached them, by offering a doll to her grieving. The picture changes to black when the doll box holds the Leonora doll.